time for a little segment we call Things That We Already Knew, but now we have more proof. Yay! Epstein, he found that search engines, mainly Google, could be used to sway elections, and that Google has tight connections to Hillary Clinton. Now, proof has come out showing that Google is manipulating searches for Hillary Clinton. Who could have seen this coming? You can see some of this manipulation in the autocomplete mode on Google. If you type in Hillary Clinton IND, the beginning of the word indictment, into Google, and you haven't searched for it before, Google will not recommend indictment. It instead recommends Hillary Clinton Indiana, which a video this week by Anonymous points out no one is looking for ever. Even people in Indiana don't want to know when Hillary's in Indiana. But if you go over to search engines Bing or Yahoo, they are happy to tell you about Hillary's possible indictment. You just type in the word Hillary and they're like, oh yeah, she's going down. Yeah. Now, both Google and the website Snopes say not so fast. Google simply has a policy of not auto-completing offensive or disparaging results. But both Google and Snopes are Google auto-completes negative words all the time. For example, if you type in Google full of, it will offer Google full of crap. Yes, yes you are. You got that right. Well done. Well done, Google. Or if you type Donald Trump RAC into the search, they instantly provide Donald Trump racism. Google is like, oh, you mean that big old fat racist, Donald Trump? Oh, yeah, sure. Now, granted, if you look for Hillary Clinton, RAC, then racist costume is the second response. So it's not that Google refuses to autocomplete negative words. It's that it refuses to show Hillary Clinton indictments. And that probably has a huge impact since half of America can't spell indictments. Including me.
They put out a video explaining this, so you all know how when you do a search, they were manipulating the searches so negative stuff about Hillary Clinton wouldn't come up. And here, I'll give you a little bit of their video source.
Because of that principle, there's an inherent trust that when you Google something, you are seeing the actual factual answer to your query or question, based at least in part on the results of what other people are actually searching for.
So like when you Google something, what comes up is the popular thing that other people have Googled, right? Mm-hmm. So we all know how that works, right? So if a lot of people Google the same thing, Google will register that, and then when you type in a couple of letters, it recognizes the and then we'll go, oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean that? So we all know how that works. That's what they're saying. And so we inherently trust when Google puts something up as a suggestion that they're suggesting it because it's popular, that would be the thing. This guy's saying that's why we trust Google. You have to have that trust that what they're putting up is actually the actual results of a search and not a pretend or a paid-for result of a search.
In the case of Hillary Clinton, who clinched the Democratic nomination, we know for a fact that that is not the case. Thanks to the help of our editor, Spencer Reed, SourceFed has discovered that Google has been actively altering search recommendations in favor of Hillary Clinton's campaign, so quietly that we were unable to see it for what it was until today. When we type Hillary Clinton CRI into Google, the site's autocomplete function shows 3 potential searches: Hillary Clinton crime reform, Hillary Clinton crisis, and Hillary Clinton crime bill 1994. However, when you type the same term, Hillary Clinton CRI, into Google's competitors, Bing and Yahoo, you get very different results, focusing on whether or not Hillary Clinton has ever committed a crime. There's clearly something wrong here, right? It's like if you put 3 people into a room that's on fire, and 2 out of the 3 people yell, fire, and the 3rd person yells, I'm in a room. So what's going on here?
So just to break it down so you know what's happening. So if you type in Hillary Clinton CRI, the thing that should come up is the things that came up on Yahoo and Bing, which was her crime report. But what they switched it to was other things that weren't as deleterious to Hillary Clinton.
When we searched for Hillary Clinton crime reform, the top result from earlier, there weren't even enough searches of the term to build a graph on the site, which begs the question, why on earth is it the first potential result?
So do you see what he's saying? He's saying if you actually type it all the way in, Hillary Clinton crime reform, it doesn't even, there's nothing that even comes up, right? Because there's not nobody searching that. So why does it come up when you just type in Hillary Clinton CRI? That doesn't make sense. That's what he's saying. Okay.
And we added a second search term, Hillary Clinton crimes. Look what Google gave back. Apparently, far more people are searching for Hillary Clinton crimes than Hillary Clinton crime reform. Google just doesn't want you to know or ask. But hey, maybe that's a fluke, right? We tried it again, this time to see if Hillary Clinton's much discussed potential indictment by the FBI would show up. When you type Hillary Clinton IND into Bing or Yahoo, there are plenty of indictment-based recommendations.
So, indictment coming, indictment 2016, but what happens with Google?
You type it into Google, the top 2 recommended auto-completions are Hillary Clinton Indiana and Hillary Clinton India.
This is from WikiLeaks. Goldman Sachs to give Ecuador $500 million as the United States-controlled Inter-American Development Bank $497 million after U.S. previously threatened to withhold funds over Julian Assange's asylum early this year. So this is how the United States gets Ecuador to buckle.
You probably already heard that last week the monsters crushing anti-establishment and anti-corporate voices took some steroid injections. 800 pages were banned from Facebook last week without so much as a warning. But if you're the mainstream media, then you would say these were 800 spam accounts. These were not real pages. But the truth is, of those 800, many were legitimate journalistic enterprises like Anti-Media, Free Thought Project, Police the Police, and Cop Block. Other pages were just heavily restricted. For example, the anti-censorship social media platform Minds.com can no longer be shared on Facebook. And if you're even thinking about Minds, Facebook will fill your timeline with photos of your ex's wedding. It's awful. And images of people exactly 10 pounds lighter than you. This is a full frontal crushing of dissident voices. Let's find out what's going on and let's get it directly from the sources. Anti-Media's Twitter account said, quote, oh, sorry, suspended. That's weird. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go to Free Thought Project's Twitter account. They said, quote, okay, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, well, let's. Sorry about that. Let's go to editor-in-chief of Anti-Media, Carrie Wedler. She's a great writer. She's done some really important work. Anyway, as she boldly stated on her Twitter account, what in God's name is going on? Oh, I get it. I was going crazy with some sort of conspiracy theory, but this is not a theory. It's just a conspiracy. Facebook conspired with Twitter to shut down a large swath of alternative and independent media on the same day.
You know, we were talking about Alex Jones.
Oh, okay. So he's
Alex
being deplatformed.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be like across the board, like it's almost, they waited for Apple, it seems like. And when Apple pulled them from iTunes, and then, you know, YouTube had danced with it, right? They'd given them some strikes. It was really recently, like within the last couple of months.
Too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Facebook had given them some strikes, and YouTube gave them some strikes, and people are like, hey, you know, there was some, I felt like almost like unfounded speculation that they would remove him from the platform. I'm like, they're never going to remove him. That's crazy. That's too far. And then all of a sudden, boom, everybody in one fell swoop. Spotify remove him? They were going to.
His show became instantly way more popular.
Oh, I'm sure.
So again, the unintended consequences. I try to tell people that, you know, I'm not defending Alex Jones. I'm defending, you know, the principle of freedom of speech. You know, people who are convicted of killers and who are on death row, they still get their freedom of speech. You're allowed to print articles, and they're allowed to have, you know what I mean? They're still allowed to.
Well, he's allowed to still. I mean, he hasn't been
Right.
silenced. He has his website.
But
he can put his show out on his website.
Correct.
He can host it from his website, and it can all be fine. But these major media companies, now, they just decided we've had enough. We don't want this on. And here's the thing, like, I don't know what he said that there was a straw that broke the camel's back. It seemed like it's not a recent statement that he said.
Well, let's just go to the court transcripts and we'll figure out. Oh, there wasn't. There wasn't a court.
No court.
Oh, there's no hearing
due
or nothing.
process.
There wasn't a judicial hearing. There was no. Come on, they do billionaire in the middle of the night on a whim. Is that what happened? Yes.
Do you think
the government tells Facebook what to do a lot of times, right? And so they bow to the government all the time because they don't want to be regulated.
Right.
This is Matt Taibbi wrote an article on the 2nd, August 2nd, about this, and there's been a lot of people being deplatformed from Facebook that you don't know about.
Like who?
Like this isn't like. Okay, so here's what he's. They shut down lots of other sites at the behest of the government in Israel, like the Atlantic Council. So pages like Black Elevation, they got shut down. A page called Mindful Being, they got shut down. Facebook also wiped out No Unite the Right To, which is a page appearing to advertise a counter rally on the upcoming anniversary of the violence in Charlottesville. So they shut that down too. Matt Taibbi, let me just give you a quick quote from his article. He says, Facebook was helped in its efforts to wipe out these dangerous memes by the Atlantic Council, on whose board you'll find confidence-inspiring names like Henry Kissinger, CIA Chief Michael Hayden, former acting CIA head Michael Morrell, and former Bush-era Homeland Security Chief Michael Chertoff. These people now have their hands on what is essentially a direct lever over nationwide news distribution. It's hard to overstate the potential mischief that lurks behind this union of internet platforms and would-be government censors. Can I just read you one more paragraph? Because this is exactly what we're talking about. He says, it is already a scandal that these de facto private media regulators have secret algorithmic processes that push down some news organizations in favor of others, which they do. Witness the complaints by outlets like Alternet, Truthdig, and others that big platforms have been de-emphasizing alternative sites in the name of combating fake news. But this week's revelation is worse. When Facebook works with the government and wannabe Star Chamber organizations like the Atlantic Council to delete sites on national security grounds using secret methodology, it opens the door to nightmare possibilities that you'd only find in dystopian novels.
So let me tell you about Operation 666. Yes! Operation 666! Operation Freedom to destroy you forever! I'm just a donkey. On the 6th of August, we banned InfoWars from 27 platforms. And now, on September 6th, we ban you from Twitter. And on October 6th, we will destroy your president and set fire to every major U.S. city and have our communist forces launch their attack while Silicon Valley sits in their bunkers in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in New Zealand. Operation 666. The number of the beast. Hell and fire reigning free. Soon the West will fall, all ready to invade. The China system will expand. The third world will collapse into Europe and America. And our domination will be complete. We will sit back in New Zealand and in Kauai, Hawaii, and watch you burn!